Hello there, nice to meet you all. It's me again, Audrey Erlichka. This time, I'm gonna explain about the activities and the reaction equilibrium activities in electronic solution, the Dipel-Hickel theory of the structure of the diatonic solution, and equilibria in ionic solution. So, let's jump to the material. Not like the other time. This time I'm not gonna really explain it like before, like drawing image. No, this time I'm gonna read it. This time I'm gonna read it for you because I'm really not getting the material here, and yeah, I'm not really sure I can explain it properly. So here we go. Modeling of the chemical equilibrium in ionic solution encountered in industrial applications, especially in the field of the hydrometallurgy, still remains an unresolved issue. The complicated specification as well as the high ionic strength encountered in this solution render the theories of the analytic chemistry particularly useless. The Dipel-Hickel theory is examined in depth so to reveal the reasons of its failure to remedy this problem. Over the years, a large number of the semi-empirical models have been proposed that are here reviewed in order to help the reader to find a model best suited for a system of interest. The models are classified into the three main categories based on terminology. Ion interaction models, arc ion interaction models, describe the system through the chemical equilibrium, and finally hybrid models use concept for both previous categories. Focus in given presenting the idea upon which each model is based rather than simply pressing equation for its implementation. So the concept of the chemical equilibrium was developed after Berthollet in 1903 found that some chemical reactions are reversible. Chemical reactions are reversible. For any reaction mixture to exist at equilibrium, the rates of the forward and the backward reverse reaction are equal. In the following chemical equation, with arrows pointing both ways to indicate equilibrium, A and B are reacted. Chemical species S and T are the product species, and A, alpha, beta, and delta, and T means temperature are the stoichiometric coefficients of the respective reactants and products. So you can see the products here. So well, like I said before, I'm not really sure can explain you about these products, or maybe I should call it equation. I don't know. I don't get really the subject really good, so I will just read it for you. So here is the alpha A. So the A here is probably the sample of the atoms, and yeah, beta plus beta B, another atoms or molecule, and A again, S plus T, T little t, and the bigger T. So the bigger T means temperature, I guess. The bigger T is temperature, and little t, I'm not really sure what it is. So well, that's it. That's the what is again the activities and reaction equilibrium, and yeah, that's it. So I'm almost forgot to mention this earlier. So the equilibrium concentration position of a reaction is said to be the far to the right if at the equilibrium nearly all the reactants are consumed. Conversely, the equilibrium position is said to be far to the left if hardly all products is formed from the reactants. Goldberg and Weich. So Goldberg and Weich. So the Goldberg and Weich in 1865 found that the building on the Berthollet's idea professed in the law of the mass action. So the forward reaction rate will be K plus A rank alpha, B rank beta. And the backward reaction rate is equal to K minus S alpha times T rank T. I'm not sure where the T here is the temperature, this is the alpha, this is the beta, alpha 2, and A, B, S, and T is a example of the molecules. Okay. Next is the activities of the electronics. So we can find the activities of salt in the aqueous salt solution. For example, we can measure the freezing point, depression for aqueous solution of sodium chloride. Find the activities of water in this solution as a function of sodium chloride concentration, and use the Gibbs-Duhem equation to find the activity of the dissolved sodium chloride as a function of its concentration. When we do so, we find some marked differences from our observation on the molecular solutes. For molecular solutes, the activity approaches the solute concentration as the concentration approaches zero. That is, the activity coefficient for molecular solutes approach unity as the concentration approaches zero. For sodium chloride and other one by one electrolytes, we find that activity measured in way approach the square of the solute concentration. As the concentration approaches zero for other salt, the measured activity approaches the other power of the solute concentration. as the concentration approaches zero. The dislocation of the solid salt into solvent ions explain that observation. Let us consider a solution made by dissolving n moles of a salt AP BP in an solvent. Moles of the solvent let A be the caption and B be the anion. For the present purpose, the cation and the anion charges are not important. We use P and Q to design the composition of the salt. Typically are interested in dilute solution, and it's convenient to use hypothetical 1 molar solution as the standard state for the activity solute species. We can represent the Gibbs free energy of the solution as G equal to N solvent U solvent plus NU AP BQ, where HU solvent and UABQ are particularly molar Gibbs free energies of the solvent and the solute in the solution. We can also write it like this. So there it is. And the last, the Debye-Huchkel theory was proposed by the Peter Debye and Erich Huchkel. So the Debye and Huchkel theory is a theoretical explanation for departures from ideality in solution of the electronics and plasmas. It is the Poisson-Boltzmann model, which assumes an extremely simplified model of electrolyte solution, but nevertheless give the accurate prediction of mean activity coefficients. For ions in dilute solution. For Debye-Huchkel equation provides a starting point for model treatment of non-ideally of electrolyte solution. In the chemistry of the electrolyte solution, an ideal solution is a solution whose colligative properties are proportional to the concentration of the solute. Real solutions show departures from this kind of ideality at all but the very lowest concentration. See for example Raoult's law. In order to accommodate these effects in the thermodynamics of solution, the concept of activity was introduced. The properties are then proportional to the activities of the ions. Activity A is proportional to concentration C. The proportional constant is known as the activity coefficient. So this is the activity coefficient. In ideal electrolyte solution, the activity coefficients of all ions are equal to 1. Ideally, of the electrolyte solution, can be archived only in very dilute solution. So that's all. Thank you for watching. I hope you get it, and see you next time.